All right, guys, it's Jason Grubb. I'm here with Rick Stevenson with the Masters in Motion podcast. It's been a couple weeks, Rick, and I think I was traveling last week, and we have been so busy this summer, but we're committed to doing a recording this week. We have something really cool on the docket next week. Can't wait to share that when we get there. But yeah, how's your summer going so far?
Good. See, you can't get rid of us that easily. That's what I have to say. It might be a
Yes.
week or two in between, but we'll keep coming back to you. We'll be consistent. And leading up to all of these competitions, late summer, early fall, there's going to be a little bit more to discuss and a little less traveling. So it'll probably be a bit easier to catch up, because I feel like if I don't talk to you, like what's going on? You know, that
Yeah,
kind of,
we
so
we literally hop on and spend about 30 minutes before the call catching up on all the things that have been going on because we haven't talked in a little bit. So I just got back from a trip to Montana. We were up there for 6 days at a significant altitude compared to where I'm at in Birmingham, where there's no altitude. So I did do some training while I was up there, and it was fun. Get to train at a gym in Anaconda, Montana, is the official town that we were staying in, and just the most gracious, welcoming CrossFit gym. You basically
that's
have
good to
open
hear.
door access anytime, and they're just so great. It has everything I need, and I suffered at altitude. Training at altitude when you're not acclimated is just brutal.
Correct.
But we can't pull back now. I mean, it was the end of a training cycle, so we have to just
Yes.
do it and then
And
move
it's
into a
Saturday.
deload week, which we're in right now. Thank God.
Thank goodness. Now you leave altitude, but you're back into what we have here, and I'm sure you have down there, is just incredible humidity. So pick your poison.
Yes.
I think if you're running outside and the sun's beating down on you and it's as humid as all get out, that's one feeling. And or you're running outside in altitude and can
You
barely
cannot breathe.
breathe.
There's no
Yeah.
air. This episode is powered by Thirdzy, your go-to for game-changing sleep recovery. Imagine hitting your workouts harder and waking up feeling unstoppable. That's what Thirdzy's PM Recovery Collagen does for me. It's like pre-workout, but for your sleep, fueling your body's active recovery processes without any melatonin or sedatives. Just one scoop before bed supports deeper, more restorative sleep so you can crush your fitness goals. Ready to experience the best rest and recovery? Visit thirdzy.com and transform your nights into recovery power hours. Thirdzy, because sleep is the ultimate recovery tool. That's thirdzy.com. Save 20% with code JASONZZZ. Let's get into the show. But I'll tell you what, at altitude, the thing that was nice was we were on the third floor of a hotel, I guess, and had a sliding glass door to a balcony. And overnight, we could leave that sliding glass door wide open. And I think the low temperatures were in the mid-50s.
Whoa. Okay.
And that's the freshest, although it's thin air, fresh, cool air pouring into a hotel room overnight. Like, that is great. You know, I'll take that. I love that crisp mountain air. I do love it. But yeah, training in it is terrible. If I was, actually what's crazy, Rick, is, I did echo bike work up there, and the echo bike moves so much easier in thin air. Like that blade, that fan.
You told me that. I can't believe
Yeah.
that it makes that much of a difference. Really? Because you're pushing the air with the front of the fan.
Oh, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. It is significant. So the fan moves easier, but there's less oxygen. So I'm still finding myself very taxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
wind.
for example, last Wednesday we had, our echo bike finisher was 4 minutes at a certain watts. Was it 360 watts or 340 watts or something like that? And the pushing it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to hold it at 340 watts, but the duration was hard because I didn't have any oxygen. The thinness of the air is great on the bike, but not great for the lungs. So it's going to get you no matter what.
Yeah, I was going to say it balances out. Down here, we're pushing like crazy.
Yep.
And still feel taxed. And I think you're maybe more taxed from the bike itself than from not having.
But you have all the oxygen.
Yeah, you have, but just the ability to process it.
So I'll tell you what I have found is, I did a couple of the qualifiers for the Legends Championship, which we will talk about in a second. We'll talk about the Legends Championship qualifiers, which are going from July 1st to July 20th. We're going to get to those. We're going to talk about strategy. But I did test a couple of those at altitude. And it made me wonder this. My performance at altitude, I'm acclimated to sea level, so doing it at altitude definitely affected me. But I'm wondering, when I lived in Colorado and I was acclimated to the altitude, I didn't do very well in qualifier competitions. In 2018, 2019, I was not in the top 5 qualifying for the CrossFit Games. In
Yeah, interesting.
2021, 2022, I was maybe around 5th qualifying for the games. And in the last 3 years, 2023, and all those tests were in Colorado, all of those qualifiers.
Right.
2023, 2024, 2025. In the qualifiers, I was first place, second place, first place when I do those qualifiers at sea level, even though I'm acclimated to sea level. So it has me wondering if, even if you're acclimated at altitude,
Altitude,
if
right.
doing qualifiers at altitude, it puts you, is a hindrance. So if there's anyone listening that truly understands, we're going to call high altitude, if you're a mile high or higher, right? Um, you know, even if you're acclimated to that, is your performance decreased? And I don't know. I mean, I've got a good friend, Eric Hinman. He trains at that altitude. He trains at 11,000 feet often, sometimes higher than that. He seems to be a very cardiovascularly fit human being. It does well in all the things that he does. But as a CrossFit athlete, doing qualifiers at altitude, does that put you at a disadvantage?
Okay.
In the comment section, let us know. Someone do the
Yeah,
research and let us know.
only because I could say your fitness has increased over the years, but your age
Yes.
has too. So is that more of a balancing factor
Yeah.
as well? You're more
I mean, I
fitter
was 40.
now, but you're older in the age group. You shouldn't be doing
Yes.
as well.
Correct. Now we could just say, we could also attribute that to, ideally, I'd want to say smarter training now versus when I was younger. I'd put that in air quotes,
17,
right?
18,
So,
19, 20.
yeah.
Yeah, those years.
2020, 23, 24, 25 was when I was really starting to kind of do my own thing as far as training goes. So there's an element where, like, maybe that's actually a bigger factor.
Right.
But, also thick, rich, oxygenated air at sea level, maybe there's a little piece of that there. I always, when I was living in Colorado, but then competing at sea level,
Sure.
2019, 2018,
Games,
2019, 21.
Miami, whatnot.
Miami, I would always feel like a rock star at sea level coming from altitude, being acclimated. I know that there are more red blood cells in your system when you are at altitude. Your body produces that, so you have more ways to deliver oxygen to your muscles. It's just your body adapts to that. But now that I don't train at altitude, so I don't have all those extra red blood cells. I don't know. This may be a good Chris Hinshaw question at some point. I may have to ask him about this.
All right. Bring him on. Let's talk.
Bring him on. That's right. Well,
I think we could all learn something, to be honest with you.
I got to tell you, he would love to come on. I'm going to add him to the list. He would love to come on.
There you go. There you go. Now,
right.
I'll tell you, the only time I do feel like a rock star is during deload week. So I just want to let you know that I feel like a rock star this week too. And then the rest of the week's not so much. So just put it out there.
It's a good week. It's a good week to be a boulder
there.
athlete. These down weeks or pullback weeks, it's the best when you go in and you're like, I'm mostly doing zone, green workouts. Yeah. I might touch yellow a little bit, but it's just, there's lighter volume, lighter density, lighter intensity. It's just great. And you're just kind of casually working out with your friends and your body feels magnificent.
And you get everything done.
Yep. Yeah, it's really nice.
We'll do that.
Well, Rick,
news?
what's news?
Well, I'll tell you, we're getting closer to the individual games. It'll be roughly the first weekend in August up in Albany. If you watch some of the Dave Castro Weeks in Review, or you follow along some of the, I guess, other accounts on Instagram, you see, they've really only released one workout plus a hint that double under crossovers are coming back. One outdoor event plus the rest will be indoors. I know that's a sensitive topic for a lot of folks after last year. Teams will be going too, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, 2 weeks after that, then will be age group, teenagers and masters down in Columbus. Big old party compared to what the small intimate gathering that they'll have in Albany. Columbus is gonna open up the gates and let everybody in, and we hope fan support and family
Yep.
and friends. It's well attended.
So many athletes too. We've got the teenagers, 14, 15, 16, 17,
Yeah.
all the masters. And then they've got the Legends Classic,
yes.
which is the team event as well.
Correct.
And so there's a
Yep.
number of teams out there, and that's going to make for a very, very busy warm up area in a great way. I love a busy warm up area, busy competition floor. I love when there's just a ton going on. So, yeah, Columbus, and we got some updates about our games as well.
Yes, they've been real good about communication by email. One thing that I think was on top of a lot of athletes' minds, we did read in the FAQs that they put out that there will be no swimming this year for age groups. I don't think that's a curveball. I don't think they'd say it and then say, "Surprise! Here's the bus. Get on." No, I don't think they do that. But mixed feelings about that, because I think you can test that modality in a controlled environment in a pool and mix it with something and have a reasonably well run event that I think it's part of fitness. So I'm not the world's best swimmer by any stretch of the imagination, but I do see its value. And I'm almost a little disappointed that it's not there. But be careful what you wish for, because that just means more time suffering either indoors or outdoors. We don't know. And it's going to be a slugfest for sure.
Yes. And I agree. I like swimming. Some of my favorite events, well, one of my favorite events at the games historically was when we were in a pool. And we had the pool and the ski erg, and athletes from all divisions, including teams and adaptive, were all did that event in some form or fashion.
Yep.
And man, that was so much fun, because it was a safe test. It was very hard, but the risk was very low. You're in a pool, and there's lifeguards, all over there. And again, it's in a pool. Worst case, for the most part, I think you just put your foot on the ground if you needed to. And there were definitely times when I was swimming and I wanted to.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think maybe we're another couple of years away from a CrossFit licensed or sanctioned, however the rules are, event. Plus with this, maybe the sale of CrossFit pending, we're not sure where that stands to, what new owners and management might think about it, or, The good thing is there are other avenues for swimming in a competition, which some of the other events, both from an individual standpoint and or masters age group, however you want to label us, have figured out how to do it, we believe, controlled and safely. So if you really, really want to swim, you can find an event to
you
go
can
do.
find a place to swim.
One. Yep, exactly. So let's see. Only thing I caught, I didn't bring this up with you earlier, but I did see the note that Tia Toomey has now decided to officially start training for the games. Wouldn't it all be nice to be in a position where on July, wherever we're at here, early July, that she could say, I'll start now, and she'll probably be just fine. And the rest of us, not that capacity or not that kind of talent, but there is only one like her. So
it is going to be, I think that's going to be something interesting to watch. I've seen over the past year, as she's been really focusing on high rocks, it really feels like, and maybe it's an illusion, but it feels like her body composition has changed.
It does. It looks like it really has.
Yeah. She looks more like a high rocks athlete, more like a triathlete. And, I think when she made the announcement 3 or 4 weeks ago, this is going to hurt. Yeah. I think she said,
yeah.
Wow.
In a polite way.
And she also won every event at her qualifier in Australia. That's pretty wild. So she's got crazy amounts of grit, and to see if she can throw down with the best CrossFit female athletes that have been training CrossFit the whole year, she's obviously going to have this crazy aerobic engine. I have a feeling she's going to win the the run, row, run. I mean, that's just going to be a breeze for someone who's got her capacity at this point. But it'll be interesting when you get into those heavier events, some of that barbell stamina. Does she still have it? And if she does, it just makes that, if she wins, what is it? Will be her eighth. It makes that record just that much more difficult and untouchable.
Yeah, especially with the future, not knowing exactly where the future of the games goes. Again,
right.
You have to say it's probably more up in the air now than it was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
You might never that might never be touched. And on the
Right.
men's side, they're showing right now how difficult, how I would say how evenly balanced those top 10 or so 12 men. You could pick, you
Yeah,
could throw them all the names in their hat, pick one and make a really good
it is.
case
Yep.
for so and so to win the games. Where in the past, you had your Rich run and then you skipped a couple of years and you had your 5 years of Matt. That's hard to say that's going to happen with the men too.
Agree.
I think
Totally agree.
wide open.
Yeah, I think
So
it's
it'll
a
be
roulette
entertaining.
wheel on the men's side. You roll
Absolutely.
the dice, or and it could be any that 8 to 10 guys just hanging out
Yes.
there. It could
Really
be a
do.
little bit event dependent. If it leans a little bit towards Dallin, or if it leans a little bit towards James or Jason, or
Ricky
any
or
of those top
Roman
guys.
yeah. Yeah. My
Yeah,
God.
Ricky or Roman or whatever. I'm thinking of I'm visioning all of their names again. It's the entertainment value is what it is for me as a
Sure.
fan of the sport.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to watch the competition. I'm not going out there. I had multiple offers
Okay.
to go out and even for free tickets with some of these offers, which were very cool. But I
Just do
can't.
some activations.
I can't. Yeah, I guess and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. Well, one, I have my son and his wife are traveling to Birmingham. We're going to a concert on Thursday night, the night before
Yep.
the games would
Yep.
start, and that's hugely important to me. I can't wait to see them. Can't wait to go to this concert. Mumford and Sons. There we go.
Sure.
It's going to be great. So I could conceivably fly to Albany the next day, but it's a lot of chaos at a time in our training and a time in preparation. I would love to go to the games. I'd love to be there. I've been for many, many years. But travel is disruptive. You and I have talked about this, and I am training for the biggest competition of my life again, and you are as well. And so we kind of, as we get closer to the games, we really try to protect that, and it's a as needed basis, if at all possible, making life consistent and no deviations. It is this is our hobby, but also Rick, we wouldn't be doing a podcast if we didn't have a deep passion for what we do.
Correct.
We wouldn't train like this, man. There's easier things to. Maybe we go out golfing. We could just become golfers or something.
Well, couple of thoughts. Yes. And I have some travel coming up. Unfortunately, some of it's a little close to that, but again, it's college related. You got to get the kids to school. So, I mean, that's the way it is. And I hate to tell you, as you already know, Birmingham to Albany, last I checked, those are 2 airports, and I will bet my life savings on that there is not a direct flight between those 2, which just means you're hopping and skipping and you're dependent upon connections and timing. It could take you a full day to get there. And is that really, that? Yeah. And speaking from a small airport myself, we can't get anywhere direct, period. So, yeah, I just thought of that when you were saying that Birmingham to Albany. That's not going to happen without a connection or 2. So,
and now you're at risk if there's storms and no.
We'll do that.
I'm going to enjoy the live stream, and most likely the way we always do it is to really just stay off social media all day, participate in our lives, and at 8:00 at night, crack open an athletic brew, sit back, put your feet up, and watch. Just watch the games. You get to skip all the delays and just hammer through. And
I'll tell you what, we love
doing that.
Start YouTube at the same time.
I know we really should. That would be really fun.
I don't think
a watch
it's
party.
a broadcast kind of thing. There's a lot of dead space, and we're not commentators, but we might have to try that for a Friday night under the lights.
That would be really fun.
Under the lights, we'll do that.
Excellent. I like it. All right. Well,
so yeah,
that'd be fun.
Coming up.
So, other piece of news, or we were going to talk about this a little bit. I think again for the age group divisions, there was frequently asked questions that Raylan is the grip sponsor, and they were offering a free pair of grips to athletes, which is super generous. That's very cool. You and I were talking about grips. So there was that controversy earlier in the year where we weren't sure what grips CrossFit was going to allow in competition. Right. They ended up pulling back on that, and you could just use any grips you want. And I've actually had quite a few people ask me over the years. I've worked with Raylan for a couple of years and not actively working with them now. So what are my favorite grips? And I can be completely fair and completely honest that my favorite grips are the grips that they discontinued offering. That's a huge bummer. Once I find a grip that really works for me, I stick with that. And I was a guy that used the Bear Complex carbon grip.
Yep. Absolutely.
It sort of feels like leather, but I don't know what carbon is in it. But all I know is that when you work that grip in a little bit, it gets even a little fuzzy. It works really well on a powder coated bar with chalk. And Raylan had a grip like that called the Gecko grip, and it was pretty much similar material. The glitch with that Gecko grip is that when you do the amount of bar volume that we do in our training, and you do it on a powder coated bar and that chalk starts to build up, you burn through those grips. And even Bear Complex grips do the same thing. Yeah. Every 2 to 4 months, you have literally worked your way through that grip, and now it's going to tear. Now you got to get a new pair of grips.
I've noticed that with Bear Complex. Very thin in this area right there. And makes me worried, like, is it going to split on me in the middle of a... Yeah, I mean, I don't want that to happen.
I have had them split, and I've had them split while doing training, and I would never enter a competition when it starts to get really thin on the palm there, right?
Okay.
If it was like 3 weeks before the CrossFit Games and I'm starting to get thin there, I'd start breaking in a new pair of grips so that by the time I get to the games, they're worn in, but they're not at risk. And I'm sure that's probably why Raylan stopped making those grips, because while some people see that as a failure of a grip, I see that as normal wear and tear. It's sort of like the tires you put on your car. Like if you want really grippy tires, actually I don't know how tires work, but I imagine if you want really grippy tires, they're not going to last as long as a really hard
performance
tire.
Usually performance. Hey, we could be corrected on this, but those high end performance tires are not made to last very long.
And that's with the Bear Complex. Sure. That's the Raylan Gecko grip. So they don't make it anymore. I think I have one more pair after the pair I'm currently using to hopefully carry me through the games. But they have I think you got the Merlin, which is the white leather grip, which is
Panda.
Oh, Panda. That's a Panda. That's Panda. Panda.
I've never had that leather material before. So they just showed up 2 days ago. So I am very curious to try. They did not feel super grippy on the bar, but again, they're brand new right out of the package. So
it is. Yeah, like any grip, I believe the Panda, which is kind of like the old Victory grips, the old white Victory grips. They're a little bit thicker, so they have a lot of protection on your hands, but you do have to, they got to get broken in a little bit. What I used to do with those, Rick, because I've had those versions, this is 4 or 5 years ago now, I would take a wire brush, like you would clean your grill with, or some of that. I would use a wire brush and scrape up to create a bit of a texture. Also, it tends to hold the chalk a little bit more. That is a way to make those grippier. I don't think you're changing anything about the grip. It's actually sort of a fast track to break them in.
Okay.
Or the other way you can break them in is do your next set of deadlifts on a barbell that has lots of knurling and use those grips. It's a good way to break in grips. So there's that. Raylan also has the Bumblebee, which is the yellow grips. They are the most broken in grips when you open the bag that you've ever had. Like you crack open that bag, put those on, they're broken in. They're good to go.
Okay.
They're thin. They're super pliable, feel like leather. And I tend to like those on the rings more than anything else, but they're good. A little chalk will help on those. They feel pretty grippy from the get-go, but they also are a little stretchy. So it's something that some people like or don't like. So you get up on that bar, you're trying to get a good false grip for some toes to bar.
And you feel a little shift.
Yeah, you feel the stretch in them. And you're like, well, these hold 200 pounds that I'm really placing on these grips right now.
Yeah.
They've got the Seal Pro, which is a very rubber grip. It's more like frog grips. It'd be where you don't want chalk on the bar. You just get up there and they're just sticky. I think I have all of them, or have tested all of them. And look, different types of grips will work for everybody. I don't think there's any grip I would say I couldn't use if I needed to. I can make any of those grips work. I just have a favorite type because I've been using a certain type for a number of years.
Yeah. Once you get accustomed to a pair, it's hard to go away because you trust you trust that when you jump that it's going to hold, and you love that stuck feeling.
Yeah. It's like, you put on a golf glove that you've used for a couple of years, man, it's like going home. It feels right, feels good. A baseball glove would feel the same. Once you've broken it in, this is what you're used to, and changing takes a little time. But I think really any of those are great for the bars that we see at the games are Rogue bars, they tend to have a little bit of powder coating on them. Chalk or no chalk. Some people wipe the chalk off the bars. Some people add chalk to the bars, and everyone tends to figure it out. But that was something that was in the frequent asked questions. That free pair of grip, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I very excited.
gesture.
I just wish more pairs weren't on back order or sold out at the size that I needed. So that's what led me to the Panda. So hey,
just
maybe it's a. I'll tell you what. As I said, they came. Why not try them? I might not have gotten them else, and if that offer wasn't available. So we're going to put them to work. I'm sure. Trust me, we will.
Well, those are grips. Everyone gets theirs. I know there's some. It's tricky with international, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But moving on, Rick, we are smack dab in the middle of the Legends Championship qualifiers right now.
Correct. And you have a big announcement that I know is already out there, but we didn't say it officially here.
It's not just called the Legends Championship. It is the Boulder Athlete Legends Championship.
A little logo right there.
Pretty is something we talked with Joe about. Maybe we started the conversation maybe a couple of months ago. We were talking about our involvement in the age group games. We're a sponsor there as well, a big presence, lots of plans out there. And he just kind of tossed it our direction, like, hey, what would you guys think about doing something with Legends? We're definitely going to be at Legends, as Boulder Athlete, we will be. And he started teasing this idea of like, well, we're making a change from First Form which they've been used in the past. And then we started the dialogue around, how Boulder Athlete could fit in the Legends Championship sort of ecosystem. And as long as we could afford to do it, our resounding answer between me and the leadership team of Boulder Athlete, we were a resounding yes. If we can afford it, it's a yes for us.
Okay.
Because what we want to do as an organization, we want to invest in masters. We also want to invest in anyone else who is investing in masters. Does that make sense? Like,
that's sure
Legends
does.
For 9 years, Legends has been committed to providing a legitimate and increasingly better and better and bigger in Boulder, it's a fun word, championship. They've done this. This is their 9th year and their biggest year yet. Next year is their 10th year. They've got insane plans for next year. So we have to be a part of it next year as well. And we want to invest in those who are investing in masters. And that's where Legends made so much sense for us. Then we worked on the logo. And would you believe, Rick?
Yeah. Let's take a look at that.
The funny thing about the logo was, we agreed to work together. We're like, okay, well, we need a new logo. We can't have the First Form logo up there, right?
Sure.
What do we want the logo to look like? None of us are logo designers, but a friend of mine who was in the first CrossFit class that I was a part of, and I was in this class at 9 a.m. in Colorado for the first 9 months of my CrossFit career before I opened my own gym. Michael Emerson, this guy was in my class. So he was there. In fact, they made all kinds of jokes. I got good at CrossFit relatively fast when I started. I fell in love with it. I was all in. I drank the Kool-Aid. And Michael is a huge fan as well. He's been to multiple CrossFit Games and qualifiers and all that. He is he's a designer. And so I've had this friendship with him for the past 11 years. And I was like, hey, Michael, we're looking for a logo for this. This is what it used to look like. This is kind of the design we're thinking in the future. We sent him some samples. He sent us his designs. He's a professional, so we, of course, paid him for his designs. But just such a crazy world to be like, the guy that was like next to me when I started CrossFit is the logo designer for the Boulder Athlete Legends Championship. And first of many years, ideally.
Is there some symbolism with the 2 lightning bolts and the star at the bottom? Was there?
No.
Or he just I didn't know if they meant something. They look
cool.
Yeah, no, they do. I just wasn't sure. Just looking at that right now.
I mean, I wish I could say that there was some sort of symbolism like Jason and Rick and Joe. Joe and Bob and Jason.
Bob and Joe
there's
the
nothing.
lightning bolts. Yeah.
Right. And Jason's the star. No, it's just kind of a cool design. And we went through lots of iterations to come down to that. But what it means for us is that...
as sponsor, what does it mean for you?
Yeah. So we are the programming and title sponsor.
Okay.
So what that means, we're not the clothing sponsor.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if that's been announced yet, so I won't say who the clothing sponsor is, but it's great. It's fantastic. It'll be probably the best clothing sponsor that we've had at Legends. So very, very cool there. But it means that I get to, as the programmer for Boulder Athlete, I get to be involved in the programming for the Legends Championship.
Okay.
I got to be involved in some tweaks to the qualifier. So I can't say where I helped make some tweaks in the qualifier, but I can say that 2 workouts were changed based on feedback. And I love the results. I love how it went. I've done one of these workouts and I was like, oh, that is such a dirty, wonderful stimulus in this particular workout. So
I'll have to guess which one.
what we'll end up seeing at Legends is, Bob and Joe are the programmers. It's their competition, and they are the lead in this.
Okay.
They have tested us as masters athletes in qualifiers and in competition very, very well over the years. I think you and I would walk away from any of the Legends Championships saying that was a heck of a test. Like, wow, I can't believe what they gave us, because they don't sugarcoat workouts for us. We do some pretty significant work in those competitions. And what I get to do is I get to add a little bit of the Boulder Athlete flavor to some of those. So in fact, Joe and I have already started working on an event on day 1 that'll be different than any day 1 that we've had at Legends thus far. Being able to, the grounds down at ASU. You've been there.
Yep.
It's at Arizona State University. They've got access to a lot of indoor and outdoor facilities there. And with all of that, there can be some really interesting combinations that can be crafted in. I think they had, last year they had 4 competition floors, 2 outside. They had the pool and they had so 4 different areas.
4 field. Yeah. Called pool
last
field,
year. And we started working on event 1. And for me, the excitement comes from this idea that I get to be part of the creative process. I'll fly out there for a site visit so we can ensure that what we're creating together for the tests can make sense logistically and are entertaining for the fans and the crowd as well, but also entertaining and make sense for the athletes, provide that well-rounded test. The only drawback, Rick.
Yes, here we are.
For me, is that I can't compete.
Can't compete. Okay.
And I love this competition. I've loved it for 5 years already. You've done it more years than I have, I think, but I have loved it 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, loved every single one of those competitions. And I quickly realized in our conversations that if we become the programming title sponsor, I can't compete because that would not make sense for me to know the workouts, help craft the workouts, and then go compete.
Correct. That's clearly stated for anybody thinking there's a conspiracy around this.
No.
Now, let's let everybody hear what age group that specifically impacts.
Now, that's what's fun about that, Rick. It's your age group, my friend. I turned 50 in October. So 50-year-old athletes, you are off the hook.
Yes, for 1 year at least. Yeah.
1 year at least, but I am going to make it so delicious to watch you out on the competition floor. My goal is to have extreme FOMO by not competing. Like, it's going to be so good. I'm going to want to do the workout so bad that you're going to have a great time with them. The other piece, so while I don't get to be on the competition floor, I get to test these workouts.
Yeah, yes. I was going to say, I was going to say, you'll be
when Joe and Bob and I brainstorm something and we think it's a good idea, I get to put it to the test. I will create content out of that. When Dave Castro sometimes releases, like, someone just did one of the workouts because they're laying on the floor. You can hear them breathing. He's like, how was that? And they're like, and they say something. He teases that. I'm going to be able to tease that. We're going to have a lot of fun teasing some of that content. As I share my experiences testing until we have the workouts just right. And I do look forward to that. That'll be solve the itch of like, I love the competition. I love the competition floor. And we'll be active out there. I will be out there both supporting Boulder athletes and all the Masters athletes out there. It'll still be very, very fun. But I'll tell you what, I won't have that stress and anxiety that comes with the competition floor. I don't miss that, but I do miss the feeling of 3, 2, 1, go. What are you going to do?
Correct.
I can't do it.
Well, that's where you and I met way back in 2020 when you were new to the 45-49 age group and kicked our butts appropriately. So I might just make my middle child walk home from a southern state for holiday break so I can get out to Arizona State. But that's another issue.
I'll tell you
I
what.
know that I don't have to get my butt kicked by you.
Yeah, maybe we can summon one of my Teslas to go out and pick her up, drive her home,
That would be fantastic.
drive back to Alabama. We'll just tell the car to do that. But yeah, I mean, this is the year. It is 5 years because I had just entered the 45-year-old age group, and that's where we met. And then we started sending messages back and forth, and then started doing video messages back and forth, and having a lot of fun with all that. Then
I remember though, before I met you though, I was talking to Bob pretty consistently back then, and he said, we were talking about the field size or something like that, the number of athletes. And he's like, well, you know who Jason Grubb is, don't you? I'm like, well, yeah, I know the name. He goes, well, he didn't need to qualify because you had won the games in 19. And then there was that gap with COVID and all that. So you're in, but and then he added to me, he's like, well, he did the qualifier anyhow. He didn't have to. And then the qualifier numbers were released, and you just pasted all of us. I was like, oh my goodness, what are we getting ourselves into? And I'm talking to a couple of the other guys in the age group. We're like, oh, well, we're just going to go out and see how it all is in person. And sure enough, rain the first day and everything else. It worked out just fine. But yeah, Bob had a funny way of describing our introduction to you.
I'll tell you this. I was so out of the loop back then that I did not know that I would have gotten an automatic invite. I did the qualifiers hoping to qualify. Given the fact that it was the COVID year, we hadn't been tested. We didn't even do an open that year. We did the open like the prior year. So like I hadn't done a qualifier. So I was nervous. I retested a couple of the workouts. I saw Justin LaSala, friend of the show.
Sure.
I saw one of his workouts. I saw the time when he was doing the heavy hang squat clean. I was like, oh man, he is doing that lift before I was. So I redid that workout. I retested everything. And I do remember Bob sending me a message saying, hey, we just finalized the leaderboard. You won the qualifier. And I was like, hey, all right, I made it. All I wanted to do was qualify, and I got in, so thankfully I got in.
Us regular people. We're a little farther
I'll tell you,
leaderboard.
That was the COVID year. Like I did not do those qualifiers in a gym. I did them in my garage. In an alley.
Put some content out about them.
Yep. Yeah, it was really crazy.
After the fact.
So anyway, that's what's going on. And
okay, that's December.
So it's going to be fun. I think we're going to make it a really good time out there. If you're on the fence about whether it's worth heading out there or not, we will make it worth your while to come out and compete. It's going to be a great show, but you have to qualify. So let's talk about the qualifiers, Rick. And
absolutely.
Maybe we'll take. I know we're going here. We'll just this will be it, and then we'll wrap the show.
Sure.
But yeah, let's go through these.
I was going to say, do you want to highlight one that maybe comes to mind that you liked, that really caught your eyes, or that you've done? Because I have not done these yet, so I am signed up, but I have not done these yet. And I'll tell you what, maybe one that catches my eye.
I will tell you the two that I've done.
Okay.
So let's start with workout 4 because I did that one first. Workout 4 is 7 rounds for time.
Yeah.
You've got 60 feet of dumbbell front rack walking lunges. So it's 15 down, 15 back, 15 down, 15 back. It's designed to be able to be done in really any gym. If you've got 15 feet, you are good to go.
Correct. I like the way they're doing that now. Yes, that's a smart idea.
Really smart. I love the 15 feet. It's a lot of turning, but it's okay. It's fine. It adds to the fun. So you've got 60 feet of front rack walking lunges, and then you've got 7 bar muscle ups. That is the RX version for most of the age groups on that workout. So it's a total of 49 bar muscle ups. It's a total of 420 feet of front rack walking lunges.
Walking lunges. And the weights are standard.
The weights are standard 50s.
Yeah.
50, 35. On paper, this workout was my favorite.
Okay.
And then I did it. And it is tough. It's really, really tough. For me, I did this at altitude. So for me, it was a lung burner. I mean, we really got the heart rate going. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this workout 7 rounds. I am going to see if I can hold a 90-second per round pace. So if the walking lunges take me 45 to 50 seconds, then I transition to the bar muscle ups. That'll take me 15, 20 seconds if I go unbroken. I'm going to have plenty of time to just pace my way through this. And that was, I executed it perfectly for 4 rounds.
Okay.
And then the 5th round, it was as if someone came and stole all my oxygen and
took your lungs.
my capacity. On that 5th round, I'm doing the walking lunges, and I was holding them vertically on my shoulders. Legends is really cool. They will just say, hey,
it's dumbbells,
both hands have to be on them, and you got to touch your shoulders. Elbows have to be in front. That's it. So if they're on your neck, if they're touching, they don't care. Just up here is great. However you want to do that is up here is great. And oh my God, the 5th round, the walking lunges become really hard. That 60 feet becomes really challenging. Then the bar muscle-ups are just fatiguing. Now you're tired doing these. The fatigue is all around. 6th round, tough. 7th round, I put my hands on my knees for probably 15 seconds before I picked up the dumbbells on the 7th round.
Just to start the 7th round. Start it round.
Okay. And then got to the bar muscle-ups. After I finished it, I'll tell you my time at altitude. I like to preface it. I think I could shave a minute off or a little bit more, maybe if I was in my home turf, but 12 and a half minutes. Okay. I laid on the floor in agony, real true pain for like 5 minutes. And I love a good qualifier like that. But I think the real magic of that particular workout is this idea that you're under tension with these dumbbells. The lunges aren't that bad because, we do lunges all the time in our training, all that. So your capacity on the lunges isn't terrible. It's just maybe that duration of time under tension on the walking lunges really just zaps your energy. And then the bar muscle-ups, while I'm able to catch my breath on those, it's a very physically demanding movement. So
You're really moving your body great distance from ground all the way up in a support position. And that does take a little bit of effort, a lot of effort.
It really does.
Now, did you do 7 unbroken?
I did.
I did. See, that's a time leak for those of us that might not have that capacity. So a 4 and a 3 or a 5 and a 2, that time between your break is going to add up. And with all those transitions, 7 rounds, and then if you're breaking a bar muscle up 7 times,
correct,
you'd be very close. It's a 15-minute cap, by the way. So for those that are listening that heard 12 and a half minutes, a 15-minute cap, that 2.5 minutes can be evaporated very fast.
Very quickly. Yeah. And if you do set down the dumbbells, that would be another time leak because it's very hard to pick those dumbbells up, first of all. Hard to pick them up a second time if you were maybe to take a break. Although I understand the break. I wanted to break so badly, but I just knew that if I set down those dumbbells, I'm going to have a hard time getting it back
15,
up.
20 seconds right there, easily. Easily.
And I talked with a friend of mine, another 45 to 49-year-old athlete, Boulder athlete, and I was like, how did it go? And he said he was just surprised at how gassed he felt towards those latter rounds. So it was a good one. Again, on paper, my favorite, but in reality, it felt like a push-pull workout. And I'm not, I guess the legs are pushing, even though the dumbbells are here. You've got that bit of a push, but
you're pushing like stand up each step, I believe.
Yeah, it had a Fran-like feel to it, except it was way too long for a Fran type stimulus. So you're just, and it was tough. I'll just say that it was tough, but I think actually if I would have slowed down a little bit earlier, taken a little bit more time in my transitions, I think I would have not had a heart rate that got so high. My heart rate was really, really high towards the end. So the idea for me, especially if I was going to try to manage my altitude at that point, I probably would have slowed down those earlier rounds. My first round, I think, took me a minute. Second round was a minute and a half. Third round, a minute 45. Fourth round, 2 minutes. Now each time is taking that much longer. I would rather have my first round take 90 seconds and my second round take 90 seconds. Third round, 90. Try to slow down to that cadence. And I would have got a better score if I could have held that cadence. But I thought by getting ahead on those earlier rounds, I thought, I'll just buy myself time when I get tired later. Correct. What it actually did is it spiked me a little too soon. I went a little too hard, a little too.
Did you look at your heart rate data?
It was It was
it way up
zone 5?
Yeah, way up there.
Yeah, 2 rounds and I was hanging out in zone 5.
Oh, geez.
So
okay. Wow, you're really selling me on this, aren't you?
Well, it was, again, I've got the asterisk is I did not have any oxygen, but I think even still, I would have been in zone 5 for sure.
Sure.
I would
Yeah.
love to say that I'd paced that, but it's a qualifier, and I felt
You're
I
supposed
had
to.
a moral obligation to give this
Yep.
a go, and I wanted to quit multiple times. I had those points where I was questioning life and existence, and then once I was done, I was like, wow, that was great. I mean, I loved it afterwards. About 5 minutes after, when I could get up and walk around again, and I knew I would be sore, and I was sore for about 4 or 5 days. Glutes, quads, hamstrings, very
Oh
sore.
boy. Now, did you do the second one the next day?
Did.
Okay.
I did this second. I did workout 2 the next day. I'll just talk through workout 2 very quickly. It's so
good.
simple.
Yes, is that the? Go ahead.
Yep.
With your description.
Workout 2 was, it was an AMRAP, right? A 12-minute AMRAP, and you've got 15 toes to bar, 30 wall balls, 15 deadlifts.
Yes, that's what I was going to highlight.
Yep.
Does that not scream an open workout, a very classic CrossFit workout, just as
straight up?
I mean, you know it's going to hurt, but it's just so down the middle with the movements and the setup. Yep.
Yes. And actually, I said it backwards. It starts with deadlifts, then wall balls, then toes to bar. And the funny thing about that one, Rick, actually, I want you to talk about what you predict in that workout, and then I'll tell you how my experience was. That'll be kind of fun.
Okay, let me get this. Let me get the details right here. I just want to make sure. You said it is, and yeah, it is an AMRAP.
12.
Okay, so you are working for the 12 minutes. You're 50 to 54. Oh, that's right. 155 for the deadlifts, 105 for the ladies, and a regular 20
I didn't
pound.
do that.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't even think about it. No, I did the 185. I didn't even think about the fact that I would be trying to qualify as a 50-year-old.
50-year-old. Oh, yeah. Okay.
That would have been
185, 185, 125. Regular standard wall ball weights and heights, and toes to bars RX for everybody. Strategy, I think for me, it's even in the early rounds, you're breaking the deadlifts, maybe 8-7, just to 9-6.
I mean, yeah.
Wall balls, 2 sets. Certainly at the beginning, 16-14, something like that. I don't think I want to do 15 each round, but something there. And then a toes to bar, while grip specific, like we just had our discussion on the grips, and I've fallen in love with some that I just love to do toes to bar with. And 15, very, very doable. I think a breakup strategy for most athletes is sensible there as well. 9-6, 8-7. It's just a lot of breaks.
Heads at.
That's the problem. I don't know if it's a problem. It's just I think the way, since you're working for 12 minutes straight, you know how you felt 12 minutes of workout 4 there and that. I'm going to say you got into round 6.
Wow. Your confidence level is so high. All right. So let's bring this down to earth.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm way off.
Yeah, I got 4 rounds and 33 reps.
Okay. All right. So you're 33 reps into round 5. Okay.
So I thought, if you think about this, and I did it at 185, but I don't think that's a big factor.
Right.
It would have been a factor. Yeah, maybe I finished that 5th round with lighter deadlifts, but the way that I approached it was, so one thing that we know from open qualifiers is that a deadlift into a wall ball is a really interesting stimulus. It tends to really get that heart rate up there. For some reason, deadlifts and wall ball into wall balls tends to do that. So I went an ultra conservative route, Rick. I went 6-5-4 on deadlifts, very quick breaks, but 6-5-4. Then I went 12-10-8 on wall balls.
Okay.
And toes to bar for me, I went 15s, and I found myself able to catch my breath on the toes to bar. I was focused primarily on breathing. So this was also maybe a consideration given how devastating the workout was the day before, that I was trying to pace this better given the oxygen content in the air, or maybe how I was feeling. But I really liked that pace. So 6-5-4, I did that for 4 rounds. The 6-5-4, 12-10-8, and then unbroken, had really no extra breaks. I mean, if I were to drop the wall ball, I would take 2 or 3 breaths at most when I was really fatigued, pick it up and go. Because I could always do a next set if I was doing it in 3 sets. I was never afraid to pick up the deadlift or pick up the bar and just go. Then when I got to the last round, I glanced at the clock. I saw that I had about 1 minute and 15 seconds left, maybe a minute left. So I went 9-6 on the last set of deadlifts, and I was breathing pretty heavy here. I was pretty uncomfortable. 9-6 on that last set of deadlifts, and then throw the wall ball till the clock stops. And I was
knowing
using
that you're
time,
not going to get through the 30, but just
not
go
going to
as
get through
many,
them.
as many reps
running
as
out
possible.
the clock.
Yep. With the wall ball.
I threw the wall ball 20 times. I thought I heard it. I thought I heard the WeTime app on my phone at the 19th rep, but I wasn't sure. So I threw one more just in case. And then when I ended up counting, the timer went off after the ball touched my 18th rep. So I only counted 18 wall balls.
Yeah. Yep.
And I definitely did not have as much absolute utter pain that I did the day before, just absolute. But
sure.
But I was pretty. My heart rate was high. I think at the end, I looked down and I was at max heart rate at the end of that last set of wall balls. I glanced down and I know what my max heart rate is, and I was a couple of beats short of the max heart rate on my watch. But it was. I enjoyed that workout. It went by really fast. But you were right. It's a ton of transitions. If you think about dropping the deadlift 3 times, dropping the wall ball twice on both, breaking those up into 3 sets, you had to be vigilant about not walking around. So you drop the deadlift, don't step back. You just drop it, look at it, pick it up. Drop it, take a breath, pick it up. It was more about controlling that heart rate. I knew it was going to go up, but I was trying to control the heart rate a little bit more than having a big spike and then just suffer fest.
Then hold on.
And it was, it's the cumulative, the toes to bar, that devastation of your core going into the deadlift again, and then the wall balls. I mean, it's a great, you're right, it's very open-like. And I talked to Joe about this one. This was just one that's so easy to score. They tried to make it easy to visually, especially because it's a qualifier. If you need to submit a video, you could see the deadlift, see the wall ball, see the toes to bar so easily. And you can test a very simple workout like this, test capacity with simple workouts. They don't have to be complicated. You don't have to do rope climbs to test someone's capacity for what they'll be able to perform in person. I mean, it's fun to do rope climbs in qualifiers, but it's very hard to judge that and do the tape measure. It's just
the camera angle.
So much time.
It's a pain in the
yeah.
But here you're looking points of performance. You're looking for standing up on the deadlifts. You're looking for depth on the wall ball and hitting the target. And toes to bar, pretty self-explanatory. You better get your feet back behind, break the plane.
That is correct.
That's again, you're doing a qualifier. You're going to be pretty confident in your ability to do a lot of these movements, or you should be.
Yep.
All age groups and scales. So, it gives them easier.
And that's
them. Okay. 4.
I think
you're in around 5.
One other highlight, just really quick. I don't know if we'll talk about the other 2 workouts. They're great. They're all very easy to understand.
Save them for next time. I do want to say
one thing I've gotten. We'll save it next time. I will say one thing that I've gotten really positive feedback on. One of the challenges with wall walks in the CrossFit Open was that the 60+ athletes felt like they really got shortchanged on wall walks. The standard was just way too easy for them.
Right.
And so Joe came up with a standard for wall walks for those older age groups. They've got they've got older divisions, and you have to find a way to safely test them while trying to maintain the stimulus. And so they have wall walks to 30 inches away from the wall instead of 10 inches away from the wall.
Okay.
To 30 inches. I've had at least 4, maybe 5. And now I didn't design this. Joe did that. It wasn't me. I thought it was a great idea. But I've had 4 or 5 people reach out via Instagram and just say that this standard for those older masters athletes on that particular route is so good. And they liked it so much better than the open test. So that's another.
Does that get shared with CrossFit? I mean, boy, if I were Joe and Bob, Joe primarily, if he's, I'd be, hey, for what it's worth, take our suggestion, but we seem to run a qualifier. Let's see how the qualifier runs. Let's see how it's scored, and if he has any problems with their video reviews. And if that works well, that's something like best ideas and best practices can be passed along.
100%. And if I have an opportunity in the CrossFit Athlete Council to pass that piece of feedback,
that's one thing
that'd be
positive.
great. Or I know you and I both have access to Dave Castro, and again, it's just one of those things where you're like, hey, here's what we learned from this qualifier. Those age groups that want to be tested, this is a great stimulus to help them get tested, but not put them so vertical that it's really no escape strategy. The challenge with wall walks is getting up is fine. Getting down, if you don't have a plan, you could really hurt yourself. So
boom.
30 inches is pretty safe.
Okay. I'll have to mark 30 inches out and even see what that's, see what that's like.
Mean, I think it'd be interesting to do something, even in some of our shoulder stamina work, Rick, where we do something like, 20 wall walks to 30 inches unbroken. You can't stop. Like, you'd have to it would be such a fun, sort of like where wall walks used to be a warm up for us.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's a competition piece.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to have this. You might be able to smoke your shoulder, do maybe 10 wall walks to 30 inches and then 50-foot handstand walk. Like, there's ways to pre-fatigue your shoulders in a safe way and then put yourself to a test. And that we may have to test it out.
Oh boy.
Look out, athletes.
Yeah, here we go.
Who knows? I'm going to call it the Rick, Rick Stevenson. Here's his phone number. He suggested this.
And he's not even the right age yet.
I'm going to name the workout your phone number.
I do like some of the naming. I have to ask you about that offline, but never mind.
Yeah, offline. I'll tell you how I come up with the names.
Since the qualifier is ongoing at the time of this recording, I think scores are due the 20th. There's plenty more time to sign up. I know they love the participation. I'm a tree killer, so I print everything out. I think all the scorecards and the explanation have been pretty thorough. A couple people have made some changes or caught some things, and Joe has addressed them in emails. If you're signed up or what you're looking for, they really, as the years go by, they refine the process that much more. And I think it makes it that much easier of a competition to sign up for and throw your hat in the ring. Now, you hope that you can qualify for that. So let's talk about the other two next episode and see.
Sounds good.
Or before scores are due, and let's just keep signing up because it's a great time out in Arizona in December. It's not 120 degrees
no, it's amazing.
And the sun's usually out.
Yep. When the sun's out, it could be 55 degrees and sun's out and you can just sit outside and soak it up. It's great.
Exactly.
And
excellent.
Rick, I'm going to say this one thing. So we haven't done a pick of the week in a while. So I'm not even going to mention my pick of the week. I'm just going to turn it on and tease it. So those of you that are
watching.
Yeah, if you're watching, I just turned the surface of the sun on me right here. It's a giant red light. So we'll talk about that and my experience with that.
Let me guess. There's another product that you're working on.
I got to tell you, man, this thing is something else. It's like, imagine having 200 Kinians.
Yeah, I was going to say, if one Kinian's not enough on your knee, you got to go get two.
Yeah, this is it's like 200 full body, stand in front of it in your underwear. Okay, we'll talk about that next time. I think that's a good spot to leave it. Thanks for tuning in to the Masters in Motion podcast. We'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast app. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our Masters community. Until next time, get bolder, not older.